Eagles on the road against the Bucs. This number has come down a bit. I think, Furman, you can correct me on this. I think I saw late last night that the Bucs were a bigger favorite than this. What I'm looking at right now at FanDuel.com/Clay, the Eagles an 8.5-point underdog. I'm going to take the Eagles here. I know how good the Bucs have been in the postseason with Brady. They won 3 on the road, and then the Super Bowl was an incredible run they got on last year. But I like the way the Eagles are playing. I think they have limited pressure. I'm a little bit nervous about the health status of this Bucs offense, and so I am going to go with the Eagles and the points here. What about you?
I actually lean over the total in this game. To your point, talking about the number, I think FanDuel actually opened it in that 7.5 range. Number did balloon out as far as 9.5, and you're starting to see a little bit of buyback. When you look at Philadelphia, they're the only team coming into the postseason that hasn't beat a single playoff team all year. And you could make the case that they're one of the worst playoff teams that we've seen in recent memory. But at the same time, I mean, Philadelphia playing with a ton of confidence. We know they can run the football. Not normally a recipe for success against the Bucs. We saw them get down big and find a way to backdoor on a Thursday night football game earlier this year. But when you look at Tampa offensively, even with some question marks on their offensive side of the ball, this is a group that puts up crooked numbers at home. We've seen Tom Brady feel comfortable working with some of his secondary receiving options. Rob Gronkowski felt like he had 37 catches yesterday to meet some of his incentives in his contracts for receptions and yards. I think both of these offenses are going to score. If you're Philadelphia, you have to be a little bit more aggressive because you're not going to be able to hold Tampa to 17 to 21 points. So it wouldn't shock me at all if we were talking about this game falling somewhere in that 31-21 range, hovering right around the number, but a slight case to be made to go over the total. But I haven't bet this contest yet.
All right, next game on Sunday, and we're going in order in which these games are played. 49ers on the road against the Cowboys. Niners get a monster win in overtime that knocks, I'm sorry, Saints fans, the Saints out of the playoffs. Tough matchup, it feels like to me, with the Cowboys. 49ers, nothing to lose going on the road in Dallas. This could be, I think, an incredibly interesting game. Odds makers are telling us it will be the closest of all the games. I'm on the Niners plus the points. Would like to get it out to 3.5. Right now, sitting right at 3 at FanDuel.com/Clay. How do you assess 49ers Cowboys?
Yeah, I'm with you, but I don't think we're going to have the opportunity to get 3.5. Obviously, if you like the dog, wait it out as long as possible. There may be a chance that it gets there. But I think the 49ers showed us a ton. All we'd heard about with Sean McVay is when the Rams have a lead going into the half, he was 45-0. Well, guess what? Now he's 45-1. And the 49ers, to your point, are playing with a ton of confidence and house money. The nothing to lose, nothing to fear mentality. And Jimmy Garoppolo, for as bad as he was in the second half against the Titans, chose a great time to put together multiple masterful drives in the win against the Rams. On the other side of things, San Francisco defensively generated a ton of pressure with their defensive line. The secondary was better with Emmanuel Mosley in the mix. They'll be optimistic that Kawhi Williams can return. And I think the 49ers are a team that we say it all the time and use this cliche that nobody wants to see getting into the postseason. I really feel they check those boxes. Dallas hasn't had great home field advantage in the past. We saw them vulnerable a couple weeks ago against the run and taking on the Arizona Cardinals. So I'm like you. I think the 49ers can win in advance. And if I was looking to make a case for a dark horse in the NFC playoff picture, the 49ers check those boxes for me if Jimmy Garoppolo's finger holds up and the second half is indicative of what we're going to see from him and company going forward.
Sunday night game, we've got the Steelers going up against the Chiefs, Furman. This line came out because I saw it late last night at FanDuel. Steelers were a 14-point underdog. I'm looking right now as we're taping on Monday afternoon/evening. There's your dog.
Live dog alert, apparently.
Hi. Yeah. The Steelers are down to a 12.5-point favorite. I know your fiance Nicole is a big Steelers fan. Maybe the dog is giving a little bit of Big Ben props there. I liked the Steelers at 14. I think I'm still going to like them at 12.5, but I like them a lot less now that this line has already moved a 1.5. How do you break this one down?
Yeah, I'm with you. It's dog or pass in this particular spot. I think people, when we talked about Alabama and Georgia, remember what they saw last, and that, of course, was the Kansas City Chiefs taking the Steelers to the woodshed in the regular season meeting. But in my opinion, this Chiefs team is banged up. And when you're talking about covering numbers this large, you want all of your weapons at 100%. We're not quite sure what we're going to see from Tyreek Hill. Where is Travis Kelce, who limped off the field late in the game against the Denver Broncos? Could Clyde Edwards-Helaire return to try and take on a full workload? And if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, it's more about survive and advance. You're not worried about getting style points. The Steelers have lived a charmed existence, to say the least, over the last couple of weeks. You talk about teams that can go in with an underdog mentality and nothing to lose. I think the Steelers fit that bill. If the Steelers, though, are going to find a way to cover, their defense has to raise its level of play. So I lean Steelers and I lean under the total. I think there's a direct correlation between the two, because if Kansas City's offense gets going and they're able to hang 31 or more, I'm not sure Pittsburgh has the firepower offensively to be able to match.